Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Empress Star, your spiritual teacher. On this particular video, we are going to be talking about the recognizing the lesson and applying it to your life. So this morning, how I came to this particular subject was that I was really up in my head about a particular situation, and is really a part of me that I'm still working on, a shadow side of myself where I like to try to control things. And I think that if I were able to figure out what the future may hold, then I can control how the situation plays out in the moment. However, sometimes it's really not for us to know right now. And that was the lesson that I had learned. And what I want you to do is you think about a certain situation that you've been going through, or that you've been struggling with, whether it be control or whether it be the lack of something that you feel like that's avoiding your life or anything like that. I want you to think about that thing, and I want you to understand that if God wanted you to figure it out, then He's going to allow for you to figure it out. Sometimes it takes for us to just be patient and to wait and to pray and ask the right questions. Sometimes it takes for us to ask very hard questions. And I'm talking about to ourselves. We have to ask ourselves very hard questions sometimes. And I know it seems to be a bit uncomfortable when you are trying to be honest with yourself, because it doesn't feel good. A lot of people don't like doing it because it takes away it dims a certain type of light that they like to see themselves in. And no one wants to be real with themselves all the time. But this morning, I had to be real with myself, and I had to understand what it was that was causing me to spiral out mentally. And one of the things was that I wanted things to go a particular way. And I had to understand that if everything worked out the way that I wanted to, then nothing would go as I claim that I want to be in God's way, if that makes sense. How can I say that in simpler form? What I wanted isn't probably what God intended, or the way God intended it on being. Sometimes we get in our own way with thinking that we're supposed to control every aspect of our life, and sometimes it just takes us just going in the flow. And we have to learn how to go in the flow. And it's okay to go in the flow. And it feels good sometimes, especially when you know that you are protected and you know that you're on your right path and you're doing everything you're supposed to do. Your guides, your ancestors that mean you well, and people that are supportive of you have your back. You can be safe. A lot of times we don't feel safe because we're not doing the work that we're supposed to do to allow ourselves to feel safe. And that brings me to doing grounding work. And me personally, when I think about how people have all these things that they suggest that you do, you have to understand that you have to do what's best for you, what works for you. And me in particular, I know that it always has to be something different. I can't do the same thing too many times, or it will no longer work for me. It's like you always have to continue to grow and find new ways that will benefit you. And I think the more that I've done that, the more that I can say that, hey, when it comes to time like now, when it's time to share, I have a lot to share. And I will hope that on your journey, when you come across people who may be at the point where you are now and you've gone further along, that you will spread this information as well, because it helps all of us, for real. So the first thing is calling back your energy. Call your energy back to you. Say, Spirit, I call back all my energy from anyone who's in it, instead taking it from me. And you just bring it back to yourself. And I like to do breath work. Sometimes it takes however many it takes for you. Sometimes I just do 5 and I hold it, but I hold those 5 really, really deep, and then I relax after each one. I relax. And I say to myself, God in, me out. And those things will help you along the way. Also, and it sounds corny, but touching grass, going out and taking your shoes off, your socks off, and putting your feet in some grass, preferably some clean grass, but some grass. Or and I know we've all heard this one before, hugging a tree. Believe it or not, it works. Okay, it really does work. And just being outside with nature will allow for yourself to you'll calm down and you'll feel a lot better. Okay, and of course, I will yell this at the top of my lungs: meditate. Always meditate. Even when you're recognizing that you need to learn a certain lesson, that you're struggling with a certain thing in your life, a particular situation, always take the time out to sit by yourself and meditate. Ask those very hard questions and meditate on it and see what comes to you. And usually your answer comes however long it takes. Well, it depends on your manifesting abilities, and we'll work on that too. We'll talk about those things. But the answer will come to you, but you have to allow for the answer to come to you. Be open for the answer to come to you. Don't try to look for the answer, because then you're going to miss it. Case in point, I work outside, so I had some extra time. So I was like, well, I want to find a 4-leaf clover. Like, I haven't found one before. I would really like to find one, whatever. So I have been looking for a few days, did not find a 4-leaf clover. And yesterday, as me and my kids were getting ready to go back into the house, I saw a patch of 4-leaf clovers. And I was like, let me stop and see if I could find a 4-leaf clover. And as I'm going through, my son comes up and he's like, yeah, 4-leaf clovers are hard. They're really hard. And then he looked, he said, oh, there's one right there. And it was a freaking 4-leaf clover. It took him 2 seconds to find it. 2 seconds. But look how hard I had worked, looking and looking and looking and searching, and I could not find one. And he found one just like that. It was because I was too anxious. I wasn't allowing it to come to me. And I just thought I knew better, and that, well, I'm going to find this and whatever. And what's crazy? My friend said that the other day. He said, it's actually supposed to just like kind of come to you. I said, well, it's not going to come to me if I don't look for it. But the thing was, I was looking extra hard for it, trying to control it even still. Again, a controlling aspect that I see that I need to very much well work on. So recognizing those lessons and paying attention to those lessons, and also having a listening ear, just listening to the people around you who actually do support you, who say the right things, and not always thinking that you know everything. So that's what I have for you today. I hope this helps. Please meditate and always look out for you. Peace.